She's a 7-time WGA and 7-time Emmy Award-winning writer for daytime drama. Please welcome last year's recipient of the Richard B. Jablow Award for Service to the Guild, Courtney Simon.
For those of you who are not yet acquainted with Hamilton Nolan, let me guess what you're thinking. First, the name. Great, right? Hamilton Nolan. You're picturing what? Super distinguished, late 50s, probably a beard, maybe a vest, pocket watch. Well, no, you are mistaken. He is a whippersnapper. He hasn't even hit the big 4-0. So now you're wondering if he's getting an award for service to the Guild. How many years has he been a member, for Pete's sake? And the answer to that is 2. Yeah, 2 years. And during that period, he also ran for council and won on his first try. So that should tell you something. It should tell you that this man has made a whopping impact on this guild in a very short time, an impact that will be felt for many years to come. It started in 2015. Hamilton was writing about labor issues for what used to be Gawker, as the WGAE was beginning an organizing campaign to organize workers at Vice. So a member of the organizing team had been reading Hamilton's work and called him in for a meeting to see if he had any helpful suggestions. And by the end of that meeting, instead of asking how best to organize Vice, Hamilton was asking a different question. Why aren't we organizing Gawker? Cut to a few months later, guess what? The writers at Gawker were being proudly represented by the Writers Guild East. It was the beginning of a wave. After Gawker came Salon, Think Progress, the Huffington Post. I could go on, but you've all been reading about it. The Writers Guild East is still making headlines day after day after day. Hamilton Nolan was there at the beginning of the wave, and I promise you he will be there to go the distance. 2 reasons. A, he's a born activist. Just ask his parents, who led the way. But B, he's a born journalist, and a good one. In fact, he can count among his admirers the late, great David Carr of the New York Times. And I quote, "He has a style based on anti-style, and I find it very compelling to read. I very much admire what he does, until he does it to someone I like, and then I don't like it much." High praise. Hamilton's work has taken him to some interesting places, like the Obama White House. Can't believe I said that without sobbing. He represented the Guild there at a round table of influencers, and he also represented us at last year's AFL-CIO convention. In a 2014 interview, when asked about his choice of a career, Hamilton said, "The thing that drew me into it was the promise that journalism could be used to get the bad guys and help the good guys." In other words, this is a guy you want on your side. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to present the Richard B. Jablow Award to Hamilton Nolan. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk.
Thank you. Thank you, Courtney Simon. That was such a nice intro. When I used to write for Gawker, I wrote a lot of things making fun of award shows, so I'm actually very embarrassed to be here today. You know, the whole idea of a union is that we're all in this together, and from the time I started working with this union, I've never done anything alone. So this award is really for the hundreds and hundreds of people throughout the media who have organized and unionized in the past couple years, because they're smart enough to understand, as a wise man once said, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And This award is especially for the people at DNA Info and Gothamist, people who are all fired and had their publication shut down as a direct result of joining this union, and who still came out the next day and said unionizing was the right thing to do. That's how important this union is to people in my industry. And this award is also for the people who actually do the work, and that's the organizing staff at the Writers Guild. Thank you all. We see you, we respect you. You're awesome. We couldn't do any of this without you. And this award is also for my mom, who's here tonight. Hi, Mom. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, everybody in this room understands the positive impact that this union has had on all our lives, on our families' lives. We're living in a time when 90% of the working people in America do not have a union. And it's our responsibility as union members to use our voice and our time and our platform and our money to help that other 90% of people get a union for themselves. Because if unions are ever going to come back in America, it's got to be union members that make that happen. Nobody else is going to do that for us. So I hope we all have a lovely time tonight, and I hope we wake up tomorrow morning and get to work. Thank you very much.